Hello and Assalamu Alaikum. This is Usman Ahmed and you are watching DawnNews English. Today I am joined by a special guest. He is Dr. Mubeen Shah, who was detained by Indian Army in Kashmir when the special status of Kashmir was revoked on 5th August. Thank you Mubeen Shah Saab for joining us, for talking to DawnNews English.
India, for them, they have crushed the Kashmiris, you see. So the thing is that because he is crushing us, and the world is silent, and particularly the country which we Kashmiris deem to be citizens of, that is Pakistan. So because they are getting a freeway about it, they are not troubled so much. Yes, about the documentary, he may get affected in the world, but Kashmir, he is taking in his stride. He has done certain things he normally he would have not been able to do, and that is the reason. Now, I'll try to elaborate this point, because it is very important for the Pakistan state to realize that what India is and what they are doing. I want to ask the question to the Pakistan state, whoever it is, the Pakistan state. Why will you look to the other way if, God forbid, India attacks Lahore? The Pakistan state underestimates the Chanakya Niti, which we call of India, which will never do anything. Why? You have to understand, in 1962, they started the Sovereign Singh Bhutto talks. And I don't know whether you know what Sovereign Singh used to say after those talks were delayed. He used to say something in Punjabi, which exactly I don't remember, but the meaning of that was that we were showing the leg slowly after that, then bringing it down, so that the negotiation will go on and go on and go on until today it is like that. And I had the occasion of meeting Kerry Kennedy in New York. She's a human rights defender. And one of our most prominent human rights defender, Khurram Parvez, was with me. He had to give her a book. And she was very impressed with the book, and she had given actually awards to Khurram Parvez. And she said, I am going to India in the winter. This was, I think, 2010 or 2011. So we said, you have to come to Kashmir. She said, no. India will be angry. I said, okay. I was not till then talking because the human rights person was there. I told her, Madam, now I told the Khurram in my Kashmiri, now you leave it to me to her. I said, your uncle was responsible for the position we are. She said, how? I said, John F. Kennedy was responsible to not force, to call, whatever it is, whatever your word you can use, to ask Field Marshal Ayub Khan to start negotiations. And we guarantee this, guarantee that, whatever the internal guarantees we don't know. And that is how Sovereign Singh Bhutto talks happened. And I told her, those are still negotiating. Those talks are still going on. But we are in the same position. So, we get sad when any politician, whoever it is, from whoever party it is asking India for negotiation. Why? Why should you ask for negotiation? You ask negotiation from a position of strength, not like this. We feel Kashmiris that we have given so much of, today I am talking to you, 4.5 million people are directly affected in Kashmir Valley. You will say how? 100,000 people killed, more than that. 150,000 people injured, and out of injured, almost 10,000 people are, partially blind, 700 to 1,000 fully blind. You have 8 million people. That means more than 50% are affected. And now what is the result of that? We have the biggest prevalence of PTSD, post-traumatic disorder. And what has happened to after that? People have now, the youth have taken to an escape route, and they have taken drugs. You have to imagine that what is our pain. People in Pakistan, or the politicians who matter, or the powers who matter, do not feel our pain, do not know what our pain is. And if they talk about negotiation, they are just crushing us also in that matter. Pakistan can do a lot of things. Pakistan have to clear-cut terms tell them that there will be no bilateral negotiations. You have to go through the UN Security Council resolution, that is all. If they don't do it, please do not start any bilateral trade, do not start anything, because that is going to affect us, our morale, our everything is going to go down the drain, what we have done up till now. What needs to be done if there's offer of talks, what needs to be done otherwise, how to galvanize. You see, this is the unfortunate part today. I have come here after 43 years. You know, the unfortunate part is that the people in Pakistan also are not very concerned about Kashmiris. Yeah, because even the Pakistani public does not know how much pain we are having. And the world feels that there's a soft, India are not, that they're the most dangerous at this point of time, particularly with the minorities in India. Our is not, it is even more than that, but they're even doing their own minorities. The Kashmiris do not consider themselves to be citizens of India. So that way, and don't equate us with the minorities in India. This is another problem which the government says, that we are a different entity. We are a part of you in a way till the final settlement is in the place that, for example, people are given the choice what to choose. And I have come with only one message from my leadership in the Kashmir diaspora, that unity of thought and unity of action. There has to be unity of messaging. What messaging we will do, the government should also do the same. Then only what you are talking about, we will make an effect on the international community. When I speak in certain occasions, I get to speak. I tell them, India is a country which is controlled by a lot of businessmen, big businessmen, big businessmen. And the basic principle of these businessmen, if I say it in Hindi or Urdu, is chamdi jaye lekin damdi na jaye. Have to, particularly in the Middle East as well as in the Western world, start a BDS movement against India. Because three things will happen by that. BDS boycott and divestment, not investment. D is divestment, and sanctions. It will only happen when the public in these countries will put pressure to their countries. Maybe not true in the Arabic world, but in the Western world it can happen. The corporates who are investing there, the corporates who are doing business with them, who are buying from them, boycott the Indian goods. When a movement will start, we have to have a critical mass which will do it, So that is why when we made this diaspora, coalition, we are thinking of what we have done in Turkey. We have not yet started it. We have taken a building which will be self-sustaining, in the sense that we will have a portion doing business of Kashmiri handicrafts and other things, which will sustain the working of the unit. And this we want to be replicated in every city, important city of the world. So that on one side they will have exhibitions, other side we can even display what atrocities India is doing at a centralized place. People will know that, okay, there's a Kashmir house in, let us say, Los Angeles. They will go there, we can bring people there, bring different segments of the public. And this is where we end. I don't know, for example, I asked here, what is the Kashmir house here? They said it's a sleeping place. What sleeping place? They should have a center. We will, if they allow us, give us some portion, the Kashmiri diaspora will invest in it and put a building there, do the handicraft, and there make it a center point for Kashmiris to come and see what the atrocities have been. It will be a permanent structure. This is where we have felt bad. This is where, unfortunately, with due regard to your organization and all the media is silent about Kashmir. They may be, Pakistan is having a lot of problems, but at the same time, we are suffering, we are giving blood. Your suffering is, affecting mostly in economics, but we are giving through blood. We knew something is going to happen because, you can say about a year before this, there was, some signals that something is going to happen. And I being associated with 2008 Amarnath Rao, when India took our land in the Amarnath board was given the land and all that. I was a very active participant in that. I was at the forefront. Trade was initially the forefront, and then the Hurriyat came along. We were sort of, you can say, responsible to a large extent that the whole three main important leaders came on one platform, which then converted with time to Joint Resistance Leadership, and which was called the JRL. So before 2019, we are getting feelers, and then the Joint Resistance Leadership thought that this should be fought by the civil society people, not them, because they do not agree to the Constitution of India. For them, it is sort of, they can't say that one part of the Constitution they agree and other part they don't agree. You have to understand that. But who is going to be affected? People. So we took the lead. The civil society took the lead, and there is on record number of interviews, and I also did on behalf of the civil society. So we created an organization called the JKSECC, where all the civil society and trade also came together. So we fought it, slowly. We went to districts of Jammu and Kashmir and told people what is going to happen if 370 is going to go up. Particularly 370 was hollow, it has nothing to do. 35A is the most important part. So then that fateful day, being my birthday, August 5th, I am born. So during the night, that was 5th now, I was 4th night I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I get a, knock. The police actually went over my, these barriers, the doors, and then they called up me, and I thought that, previously also they had put me in house arrest when there was a problem of GST. And before that, in 2008, they had impounded my passport for almost 1.5 to 2 years. So I thought that they will put me under house arrest, but I did not know this is a very big thing, because it was briefing, but it was not sort of, they will not go to this extent, this level. So they took me during the night, put me in a local police station for one night. And the problem with me was that I had a prostate problem. I used to go to the bathroom every now and then. I could not sleep. That was a torture in a way, we can say. And after the second day, we came to know that they have done it. The whole curfew, the whole city was under curfew. There were bears. It was, every nook and corner was with the army and with the police there. And that, you see, we have to understand. That's why I'm saying that the people in Pakistan or the world do not know. That's why we want that the Kashmiris themselves should be at the front to tell our story. You see, if you go here, there in Kashmir, previously it used to be every mohalla would have a gate where the army was there. Exit also, entry was also. It is still in the villages. The entry and the exit is controlled by the army. Indian Army or Allied Forces. For us, it is also, whether it is, they name it different, but they are basically the army. So they took me from there, and they took me then, second, third day, 21 of our people, of which who were arrested with me, we were taken to the Central Jail, and from the Central Jail, we were flown in an army plane, to Agra. And there I remained for 4 months in a cell with the president of the Bar Association and president of the Trade Association. 3, you can say, prominent faces of civil society. Fortunate part was that my eldest son was an American citizen. He put pressure as an American. This is one of the beauties in the American system, that if you are a citizen, they will go to any extent. So, and the then South Asian in charge, Elias Wells, he went there with one of my cousins and told about it, and then one of my close relatives, her, senator, took this point in the Senate hearings, and with name. And Elias Wells had to give a commitment that we are taking care of her. We are taking care with the Indian government. We are in constant touch with them. If you can see those hearings, you will see it, that, about his health and all that. So the Indian felt that who is this guy, this, and one of the politicians here, or otherwise also, I tell that in America, India comes under pressure, and I am the evidence, because of the fact that this means also that Pakistan, or for that matter, we Kashmiris have to play our cards properly to get not only America, other countries to play, this role. It is very, very important for us to, understand this, because until unless you don't do that, nothing will work. Pakistan has given too much leeway to India, to tell you very frankly, as a businessman. At one point of time, I was also thinking in the same way. I am not saying no, because being president of the Joint Chamber, I had proposed at a certain point of time that both sides of Kashmir should be declared as free economic zone. Free zone, both the sides. So people would say to me, why you are asking? I said, this is the first step towards settlement. So the idea was that, okay, sovereignty part we will decide after a certain period of time, but both the sides will become, because we are a very advantage, because I lived in Singapore for 13 years, and there I saw how they have developed. It is basically a big free economic zone, nothing else. And we are also geographically stationed like that. We have China on one side, we have Central Asia on the other side, Iran on the other side. You will be surprised that when I was the president of the chamber in 2009, I went with a delegation to Iran and did a MOU with the Isfahan Chamber of Commerce, although I had no connection. So that is why I have written on it. I have written on the advantages of CPEC for Kashmiris, and CPEC should never be given access to India through the Gwaga. It should be through Kashmir, because if you put a condition like that, then only they will agree. Or else, first is, and there should be very important thing which we have written in the paper, which I can share with you because it's a detailed paper. And I am sharing with all the stakeholders here. I have already given it to the Hurriyat, I have already given it to the JKLF, I have given to the some senators who are in the ruling party, some senators on the other side, because we want all of them to have the same message and same thinking, that everything which is done after 2019 by the Pakistani state, it should have guarantees not only of the UN, because that has become a failure, by the permanent representatives in the UN.
Thank you, Dr. Shah, for talking to Dawn News, and I hope and we hope that Kashmiris would see a bright light of freedom anytime soon rather than waiting for more decades.